2. Lineup for Bolivar with Lampe, the Bolivian goalie, in the back. Sagredo, Torren, Echeverria, and Sagredo. Echeverria and Torren. From Argentina in the middle. Cataño, Vaca, Justiniano, and Mateos. With Cauteruccio and Battaglini. Cauteruccio from Uruguay. Battaglini from Argentina. Catano from Colombia. That is the lineup. For manager Flavio Robato from Argentina. And what he has available today in the bench. Dorni Romero, who scored in Ligue 1, will start on the bench. The Dominican player has lit a fire under Bolivar. Good to see. Good to see a Dominican player. I've been playing in Kazakhstan last season. Let's go to a ceremony non-kickoff. In this campaign for BOL to stop racism, discrimination, and violence. Everything's set. And we'll be ready to get our game going. Bolivar will touch first. Mineiro will be on the right-hand side of the pitch in the striped uniform. Their home black and white with gold. Sampaoli had a horrible tenure in France where Rennes almost got the team relegated. Habib Bey saved the team. They're playing beautiful now. Although just having the definitely do know a difficult result. Flavio Robato on the other side. Everything ready for the first half of football.
Attacking the goal to our left. Supporters in good voice here this evening, expectant of their side to finish the job and take a place in the final four of this is Sudamericana, despite their recent form. No win in 7 since, in fact, they beat Godoy Cruz in the last round of this competition. Jorge Sampaoli yet to get his first win as coach. 4 games in charge now after a weekend defeat against Botafogo, in which Botafogo were playing with 10 men for a large chunk of that game as well. So pressure already building on Jorge Sampaoli. You don't really get time to ease your way in Brazilian football, and he'll know that. Vitor Hugo. There's Guilherme. Rejigged formation with a back 5. Should get plenty of invitation to get forward down the left, as he would like to join the attack and offer a lot of width for Atlético Mineiro. Proactively goes chasing for that ball. We'll see a very different Atlético Mineiro than the one we saw last week, who were very deep throughout. And it was with their first attack right at the end of the first half where they actually took the lead, because it was more or less everyone behind the ball. Ronnie, who started, was the lone striker. It was a team that were just simply set up to defend. Would have been astonished, I think, to find themselves 2-0 up at half-time. The nation today, even with players missing, is one which set up to attack, and it's set up to see a lot more of the ball. Lianco back to Everson. Vitor Hugo misplaces that pass down the line as Jorge Sampaoli asks for calm early on. 2-2, the aggregate scoreline. No need for Atlético Mineiro to be pushing for it. Back to Everson again. This time he will clear. There's Lianco again, dominant figure at the heart of that defence. Coach in charge of Bolivar, slightly more subdued character than Jorge Sampaoli. Will perhaps be difficult. Ball forward from Vitor Hugo. Guilherme Arana brings it down on the chest, drops it back. Switch onto the far side by Hulk. He too just told to calm things. Bolivar will look to slow the game down, you'd imagine, as much as possible. Throw down the line. Tanyo unable to hold it up. That's nicely done in the midfield. Atletico with the platform to break forward. Guilherme Arana. Scarpa goes back with Ivan Roman, the young Chilean centre-back. Vitor Hugo. Hulk with the layoff. Guilherme Arana squeezes a pass through. All out wide onto the far side now. As Atletico creep forward and a cross swung in. Swung over the heads of everyone who's made those forward runs. Renier included. Behind for a goal kick. Never lost a quarter-final home match in Commonwealth competitions. 10 wins and 4 draws. It's the side that won the Libertadores back in 2013. Wonderful side. There's a mistake at the back there, and a chance here for Cauteruccio. And Atletico switching off, and a brilliant bit of covering from Vitor Hugo that deservedly gets a round of applause from his captain, Lianco. Cauteruccio perhaps didn't quite have the pace to punish 38-year-old Uruguayan. Didn't have it in him to race away from Vitor Hugo. Clips the ball down the left. Renier. Some strong defending. Echeverria in the back of Renier. Will have to be a very disciplined defensive performance this evening from Bolivar. It's an incredibly rash challenge a week ago from Gariglio that saw him sent off at a crucial stage of the second half. Goals they conceded, looking so comfortable for almost the entirety of the first half. Back to Lampe. too forcefully, maybe for the liking of the Bolivian international goalkeeper. Back on the shorts there of Catania. A free kick to the visitors. The only one inside the penalty area. Bolivar immediately win it back again. Justiniano. Mateos unable to bring it under control. Challenges flying in, and eventually a free kick given to Atlético Mineiro. It's quickly taken. And the Gallo in no mood to hang around this evening. Bernana was looking for the 1-2 with Renier, intercepted. As Cauteruccio goes down under a challenge and draws the free kick. Concern for Atlético Mineiro. Renier is already off the field getting treatment on what looks like a right ankle problem. Already on the end of a couple of forceful challenges from Santiago Echeverria, among others. Tanyo fancying his chances. Everson then put under pressure. Positive start from Bolivar. Moving the ball well. And behind once more. Scarpa, good ball onto this near side for Orana. Yancon immediately put under pressure by Battaglini as well to move the ball on again. And Atletico keep possession, but are forced all the way back with Everson. Alan Franco. Bolivar doing a good job of pressing when the time's right, closing off those passing lanes and making it difficult. Forcing Lianco here to go long. Renier will chase, but it will run all the way through to Carlos Lampe. .59% possession through the opening 13 minutes for Atlético Mineiro. Perhaps as expected. Early goal would go a long way to easing any kind of fears Atlético Mineiro may have. Saw yesterday evening the other Brazilian side, Fluminense, who themselves, although they lost their first leg away against Lanús, will have still been confident they would turn their tie around at the Maracanã. And having got themselves in that game back level in the tie relatively soon and firmly on top, that confidence only increased inside the stadium as the game went on. However, late goals saw Lanús go through with a draw in the Maracanã. It's Hulk caught there by Justiniano. Alexander also down. His feet. Alexander, still it would seem, in some pain. You just see nothing wrong with the challenge from Robson Medeiros, but Alexander seems to really jar his knee there as he comes in and goes for the ball in that 50-50 challenge. Leg moving very, very awkwardly. Alexander, scorer of the first goal last week, giving Atlético Mineiro the lead. Important figure in that central midfield. Is now back on his feet and moving a little gingerly. Looks as though he's going to be okay. At least the medical team are holding off any changes. There are options available with the likes of Fausto Vera, Gabriel Menino, who could come in and play in that central midfield position. But the 21-year-old Alexander really has been excellent. Still moving very, very awkwardly. Don't know if he is going to be okay, you know. This one pulls it back to Hulk. Hulk's shot is blocked just inside the 18-yard box. Here's Gustavo Scarpa. And his attempted pass cut out. Change being ready then by Atlético Mineiro after that injury to Alexander. The first problem, quote unquote, for Jorge Sampaoli, having already had to make changes this evening. 3 changes that were forced through suspension and injury, and now another one thanks to that knock picked up by Alexander. Top, looking for that run of Guillermo Arana. Too much on it. I think there may have been a flag anyway against the left back. On that change to be made by Jorge Sampaoli, but it's one that will force a reshuffle because in theory it's an attacking change. Bernard, the player who's going to be coming in for Alexander. Cross from the left will go straight behind, and a goal kick for Atlético Mineiro. And the Atlético Mineiro side that won the Libertadores in 2013 as a youngster, before moving on to Shakhtar Donetsk. Everton fans may remember him. A brief spell at Goodison Park. Now 32 and back at Atlético Mineiro. The Igor Gomez. Perhaps a little bit deeper now in that central midfield with Alan Franco. Igor Gomez slipping on the edge of his own box. Launching in on a challenge to recover the ball on Battaglini to give away the free kick. And a yellow card shown to Igor Gomez. Certainly within shooting range, favouring the left footer. Everson preparing a four-man wall. Gustavo Scarpa on the ground behind it. It's going to be the left foot of Robson Mateus into the wall, doing its job. With the layoff for Gustavo Scarpa. Helped on by Igor Gomez into the path of Vitor Hugo. Set back for Atlético Mineiro. Perhaps we'll have to find momentum again once brought down by Alan Franco. Midway through the first half, goalless on the night. 2-2 on aggregate. As things stand, we would be going to penalties at the end of the 90. The layoff, Guillermo Arana fizzes one into the feet of Hulk. Alan Franco moves it on for Gustavo Scarpa. Times just struggling to move the ball forward into the Bolivar half, Atlético Mineiro. All of their possession. They've given away another free kick here for a challenge on Battaglini. He does go to ground very easily. Often not getting the free kicks that he would like, Damian Battaglini, but on this occasion drawing the contact from Lianco. kick sent in, headed up into the air off Hulk. Victor Hugo rises powerfully, and the shot comes in from a long way out and drifts well wide of Everson's goal. Goal kick's taken far too quickly by Everson, with another ball already inside his 18-yard box. He can hardly complain about that. Will come away with the ball. Arana leaves it for Bernard. Again, moves backwards, possession. He's patient. At times is finding it difficult to break down. A very well disciplined and organised Bolivar side. Pushed away from goal as soon as they get towards halfway. Sagredo. Back to Torren. Bolivar will be very happy with what they've been able to produce so far, even if it's not a great deal at the other end. Roar from the crowd looks to inspire the team and get them moving forward. Alan Franco again frustrated with Victor Hugo, who decides to pass sideways to Lianco. Alan Franco trying to dictate the play, get that pass forward into Guilherme Arana, but again they've had to go back all the way to Everson. His clearance is charged down. Justiniano. Echeverria. Back to Torren. Argentine centre-back under no pressure is able to get his head up, think about the long pass, but instead drop it off with Jose Sagredo. Vaca. Once more down the line. It's nicely worked, this. Altaruccio. Robson Mateus. Catania. Bolivar's turn to enjoy some patient possession play. Justiniano opens it up onto the near side. If anything, there's actually maybe a little bit more incision about the way Bolivar are knocking the ball around, and they've got themselves a throw. Jesus Sagredo creeping down that right-hand side into space. Immediately wins it back for Bolivar. He's going to be crowded out here against 2 or 3 as well to win the throw-in down by the corner flag. Igor Gomez again a little bit slow in possession. Good turn by Hulk. Looking for options, and Torren is there. Hulk running into an Argentinian wall. stopped again here. Daniel Catania is down, just holding his hip or lower back. Did see him a moment ago when Bolivar were in possession, touching that area, looking in a bit of discomfort. Stretches on for Catania. Miguel Torren intervenes to tell those with the stretcher just to give Catania a second. Catania's okay to climb up onto the stretcher himself. Well, a small band of travelling supporters in the second tier of the Arena MRV, hoping to witness a little bit of history here this evening, and what would be a monumental victory for Bolivar if they're able to come away with the win here against Atlético Mineiro. They've reached the final of this competition. Bolivar back in 2004 when they lost to Boca Juniors. Semi-finalists in the Libertadores as well. Regulars every season in the Libertadores as the most successful team in Bolivia. Bolivar really are one of those mainstays of Copa BOL competition. One of those away trips that no one really wants to take. The biggest and the best of South America, and fall foul to the away game against Bolivar. And that's why the 2-2 draw for Atlético Mineiro was such a positive one. So far, 32 minutes in though, they've not really been able to build on that. It's been another night of frustration for the Brazilians. Alan Franco hits it long. And again, Bernardo's the player furthest forward, but he's nowhere near getting on the end of that. Carlos Lampe, untested so far in the Bolivar goal. Well down the left, Guilherme Arana. A nice little first touch. Hulk inside the area, rose himself to the ground. I think even he thought better to really appeal for the penalty. Meanwhile, Bolivar attack with Battaglini. And Victor Hugo again, too strong. Diego Gomez. Space here for Bernardi. Turn, looking for Hulk. Goes back to Bernardi, looks for Hulk again, who's now in an offside position, and as such allows the ball to run through for Carlos Lampe. Scarpa down in that corner, looking for the keeper and gifting Bolivar a chance. Rolled in deeper position. Delivered in now towards the back post, headed down across goal. Cauterucci's there. His shot's blocked by Roman. Still an opportunity by Sagredo to whip the ball back in again. Gustavo Scarpa this time underneath it. Not yet away completely. Sagredo. Uses Robson Mateos. That comes off the head of Vitor Hugo. And will be a throw for Bolivar. 10 minutes of normal time remaining for the end of the first half. Still 0-0. And Atlético Mineiro still really yet to get going. First half that may just be beginning to cause a few concerns for a few inside the stadium. The last Bolivian side to eliminate a Brazilian opponent away from home in a CONMEBOL competition was Bolivar, and they knocked out Atlético Paranaense at the round of 16 in the 2023 Libertadores. It's one of two occasions historically where a Bolivian side has managed that feat. The other was a loss for Atlético Mineiro when they lost to Jorge Wilstermann back in 2017 of the Libertadores. Throw into the box, Justiniano tries to bring it under control. Instead, Roman is able to smash it clear. Headed back towards the edge of the area, it drops on the edge, and Justiniano snatches at the effort. Sampaoli grows increasingly frustrated. Rarely stops moving, Jorge Sampaoli, whether his team are playing well or not. Bernard runs at Echeverria, plays it early, was looking for the run of Hulk, the ball just behind the striker, who recognises the pass with the thumbs up, and it's an easy one again for Carlos Lampe. Franco wins it back. Igor Gomez again decides not to play forward. There's a groan from the crowd as he goes back to Vitor Hugo. Igor Gomez and Franco very nearly caught in possession on the halfway line. Can Bolivar keep up this tempo? May be one of the questions as this game goes on. Bernard thought about the shot. Good break here for Hulk, but instead little toe in. Hulk under pressure, and according to Facundo Tejo, getting the final touch on the ball. Will be very happy with what his side has produced so far. One would imagine 5 minutes to go before the break, and limited to Atlético Mineiro to next to nothing. Ball cut out well down that left-hand side. Here's Battaglini. Tanyo brings in Sagredo. Sagredo down the line as Robson Mateos makes the run and forces a challenge. Vitor Hugo going to ground. And a touch may have come off Robson. Goal kick given. Bernard through the back of Justiniano. You often expect maybe Bolivar away from home to be firmly second best and themselves to get a taste of their own medicine to some extent and be chasing the ball sitting deep, but that's not really been the case here so far in their own half by any stretch of the imagination. Back to Everton. At some point you feel as though there may have to be a change of approach from Atlético Mineiro. Even if it's simply in mindset, because there's been far too many back. Again, Lianco, Vitor Hugo, Arana hugging this touchline. As soon as he gets the ball, however, Sagredo straight out to him. That's really been the case as soon as the ball gets anywhere near halfway. Incessant the press there, trying again put pressure on Ior Gomez. He does well to spin away from that. No real way through that sea of blue shirts. Bernard carried all the way by Echeverria, and the ball won back. Alan Franco, final minute of normal time at the end of the first half. Torren quickly in on Hulk, cross in from the right, floats over the head of Lampe behind for a goal kick. Lampe to get on with that goal kick, taking a little bit too long for the referee's liking. Minutes at the end of the first half seems a fairly generous amount. 5 minutes, we will go to penalties to decide which one of these two sides will go through to the semi-finals of this year's Copa Sudamericana. Independiente del Valle or Once Caldas await the winners. They play their second leg. Kick off in about an hour and a half's time in Colombia. Was last night we saw Lanús knock out Fluminense, a result that saw Renato Gaucho leave as manager of Fluminense. Repercussions of going out when you're maybe favourites in the tie. Lanús await the winner of Alianza Lima or Universidad de Chile. And while Jorge Sampaoli's only been in charge for what will be 5 games after this one, it's no exaggeration to say a defeat here would be damning for him. His team on the attack here, kept alive by Guillermo Arana. Ball up. Back underway, however. 5 minutes into the second half. The centre-back making the run forward, aiming for handball. He's run out of options down that right-hand side. There is the focal point, really. If and when a chance can come in the 18-yard box, that's who they'll want it to fall to. And outside of being inside the box, unable to really have any kind of an impact in the game. Back heel to leave it in the path of Guillermo Arana. Watching the hour mark, still no change on Franco. Scarpa again in a lot of space on this near side. That's where the ball goes to. Scarpa in field. Lifts the ball over the top looking for Bernard. And again, Alan Franco just turns round with the gesture to say, don't force it. Pass, an almost 1 in a million pass attempted by Gustavo Scarpa there. Tagini runs into Lianco. Two down the right, chance to cross. Lianco's there for Atlético to get it away. Only to the edge of the area, however. Vitor Hugo. Pass forward into Hulk, who goes down very softly. after the layoff. Hulk can't bring it under control. Charges in, lashing with Torren on the way past. Victor Hugo onto the loose ball, tries to play with Hulk. Hulk returns the pass, Victor Hugo continues his run, centre back onto the edge of the area, and just loses momentum. And 3 blue shirts quickly close on him. Centre backs providing the impetus at the moment for Atlético Mineiro's attacks, but they've left themselves a little open here. Cauteruccio between the lines, and offside as he receives the pass. Pass delayed a fraction. I think Cauteruccio, as he peeled away from Lianco, wanted it a little sooner. Still, Atlético Mineiro bossing the possession. But still, by my reckoning, yet to register a shot on target. Hulk brings the ball down on his chest. Renier with the layoff to Alan Franco. Ball out wide for Arana. Down the line for Renier. Man forced away from goal. Do you wonder at what point, if any, do either of these teams gamble? Less than half an hour remaining. Do they gamble in trying to find a winner in normal time? Felt as though Bolivar may have looked at this return leg and said before kick-off, we'd probably accept a penalty shootout. Not that they've played in a way which has been set up just to defend a 0-0 draw. And I think they would have known how difficult this was likely to be in Brazil. And that would certainly not be the case for Atlético Mineiro. Hulk with the free kick. It's well over the head of Lianco, who throws himself theatrically down in his efforts to get on the end of it. Is down here after this sliding challenge. Just caught the legs of his own player on the way through. Don't think there's any touch from anyone else. It's enough to keep Miguel Torren down, clutching his knee. And still the veteran centre-back remains down. Stretches on for Torren as he gets to his feet. Would be a real blow with more than 20 minutes of normal time remaining if Bolivar were to lose Miguel Torren. There's no one really in the box. Cauteruccio arrives late, headed away. Here's Justiniano, loses out in the midfield. Bernard, and he can't in turn get away from Vaca. It's largely been the story this evening for Atlético Mineiro. Just when they think they spy an opening, another blue shirt comes in, closes the door. back on the field and looking okay. This is Jose Sagredo, Vaca, Justiniano, the captain. Vaca down the line, or Battaglini just drifts all the way across that front line. Knocked out of the starting 11 a week ago, Damien Battaglini. Perhaps a little harshly, considering his involvement since arriving at the club in this competition. Argentinian signing from Argentinos Juniors in July. 2 goals and 1 assist in his 4 appearances before last week in this competition. Free kick swung in at the back post, a chance. Justiniano looked as though he was away from his marker for just a moment. Great delivery. Justiniano, I believe it is, who stayed down in the goal mouth after trying to get on the end of that cross, and really did look for a moment as though he'd wriggled away from his marker and was going to get on the end of that. Looking there at the back post, he is the wrong side of Guilherme Arana, who's then stretching to try and salvage something. Best bit of defending at all from Guilherme Arana. Loses Justiniano. And then takes a big risk with those 2 hands and that raised leg. I don't think there's enough there, which signalled by Facundo Tejo. We will, of course, continue. It won't be anything awarded inside the penalty box, but Guilherme Arana switching off on the set piece, and that could be the difference. Triple change being readied by Jorge Sampaoli, by the look of things. It would be all 5 of his substitutions made before Bolivar even go to their bench at all. Changes now. Even Roman makes way for Fausto Vera. Hulk comes off. BL coming in. And Kyle Paulista, wearing the number 38, also into the action, with Guilherme Arana making way. Chance here. What an opportunity. Well, an offside flag, I think, has gone up, but Battaglini one-on-one with the keeper, slides the ball wide. The departure of Ivan Roman sees Atletico go to a back four for the final 15 minutes. Stovera looks as though he's lining up in that right back position, which would be out of position as far as Fausto Vera would ordinarily play as a holding midfielder is concerned. Goes Cal Paulista, who has come on for Guilherme Arana at left back. Again, caught on the ball, and Franco couldn't find a pass through to Igor Gomez. Quickly cleared upfield by Everson, and inviting Ronnie to make the run and asking an awful lot. There's been too many hopeful balls in truth from Atlético Mineiro tonight. Watched closely, able to get away. Here's Bernard, the ball stayed in play, or has it? No, not according to the official on the far side anyway. Good spot, I think, from the official. Makes an awful lot of, not much, there as changes are readied. Damian Battaglini makes way, and so too Daniel Catania, two players that have worked very, very hard tonight. Pato Rodriguez, another Argentine on, and the in-form Doni Romero also on. Scored the late penalty last week to make it 2-2. 10 goals in 15 league games, including another at the weekend for the Dominican striker. On to try and find a winner perhaps here. Lambe's never the most comfortable with the ball in his feet. Evident by him kicking the ball straight out of play there under minimal pressure. Keep alive, but he can't do so. This is not going to plan according to Atlético Mineiro. They have a few minutes of normal time to find something. Well, this tie will be decided via the penalty spot. Mineiro have already come through one penalty shootout back in the playoff round when they knocked out Atlético Bucaramanga, one of the sides that dropped down from the Libertadores.
Top. It could work out here for Atlético Mineiro. Great chance. Contact in the box. Calls for a penalty. What's Facundo Tejo made of this one? Biel it was again, making the run behind. Yellow card shown to Torren and Biel. Well, Atletico have looked for that pass a lot tonight, and at times it has just looked very, very hopeful. And for almost the first time, it actually found a black and white shirt making the run behind. It was Biel, the substitute. Onside, away, gets there first. How much contact is there on that recovery run? It's Echeverria, isn't it, who's running across him behind. The shoulder into the back. Biel again, is it arguably just outside? How much contact is there? Does Biel really have that under control? All the questions that Germán Delfino needs to address when he's making up his decision. In the meantime, yellow card shown to Biel and to Miguel Torren for their reactions after that incident. Lampe, in the meantime, has stayed down, wanting some treatment. Perhaps using all of his experience after that moment just to take a breather. First time, really, that Bolivar have been undone by just a long ball over the top. Perhaps tired legs showing in the 90th minute. Hulk leads the protests with court official Sebastian Zunino, questioning why that perhaps wasn't a penalty, why VAR haven't stepped in. Wasn't given by Facundo Tejo. Not sure that threshold was really there to say that it's a definite error from Facundo Tejo. 5 added minutes goes up on the board, held by Sebastian Zunino. 5 minutes to find a winner. Well, he's booked for his celebrations, but I don't think many people inside the stadium here in Bolo Horizonte will argue against him enjoying that moment. Onside and right in the place at the right time to apply the finishing touch. They left it late, but now Bolivar have just
a couple of minutes to find their way back in. 3-2, Atlético Mineiro lead on aggregate. And after 91 minutes of very, very few chances, the game looked destined for penalties until that moment. Scarpa's quality, worth keeping on the pitch until this moment, even if he's been quiet. For that ability to put a ball in the box. And it's Bernard, the hero. Free kick to Atlético Mineiro. Within range for Gustavo Scarpa. It is Scarpa, it's into the wall. Back to Igor Gomez, who lifts it over the top. Ronnie's there. Ronnie, saved by Lampe. There's no flag, there is a flag. But Bolivar have maybe a minute here, depending on what Facundo Tejo adds because of the goal being scored in stoppage time. Torren launches it. Vitor Hugo's underneath. All over the top from Igor Gomez. Ronnie gives chase. Igor Gomez. Back to Ronnie. He chose to head for the corner, he doesn't. Instead he looks for a free kick, which he doesn't get.